Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Elizabeth. If you're just joining this channel brand new with me for this time, today we're talking about the e-meal. So this is for Trim Healthy Mama, which is a weight loss plan that I'm doing to lose weight. And I'm doing little video segments on how to do this plan. And so I've made one on the S-meal already. Don't miss that video. But today we're talking about the e-meal. So the basics of the plan is that you're putting protein in the center of your meals, and then you're separating your fats and your carbs so that you're not having too much of fats and carbs together in a meal setting to where your body can't burn through it fast enough. If you separate them, the premise is that your body will be able to then start burning your own body fat, and then you'll lose weight. So if you're just joining me for the first time today, I also am doing weekly weight loss updates on my journey with Trim Healthy Mama. I'm doing Eat With Me days every week where we do a full day of Trim Healthy Mama eating, and I'm also showing you my weekly grocery hauls and my meal planning, and so what we're eating every week. So I'm trying to put lots of resources out there for you. If you're new, check some of them out. Thanks so much for joining. So what the e-meal is, we're going off of this book right here. So this is their book for Trim Healthy Mama. This is the second book actually that explains the plan. The original book was a self-published book that was 500 pages. It's a tremendously wonderful book. It's got recipes in it as well. They talked about everything under the sun. I definitely recommend getting and reading that one as well. But it is really, really thick, and you may want to get started sooner than getting through these 500 pages. And some people just don't love to read, and I get that. So that's why they went ahead and they condensed it into a much thinner book. This is a really easy reading. I definitely recommend reading this one as well, buying it and reading it. It's tremendously helpful. However, if you want a little bit more information, or you like to get your information, from video form, I definitely understand that. I do that too. So that's why I'm making some of these videos to just kind of help talk about the plan and talk about all kinds of things having to do with the plan. So we're talking about the e-meal today, and we're going to just go over it from the book here, what the e-meal looks like. So basically the e-meal stands for energizing. It's the energizing meal, and it's your carbs meal. It's not carbs like going crazy. It's like carbs in a very carb conscious, carb appropriate, thoughtful way, where you're eating carbs because they're okay and they're healthy for you, but you are eating them in such a way that is good and helpful for your body. So in this setting, you stay under 45 grams of carbs for one e-meal. So you don't go any higher than that, and you don't go crazy with your carbs. This also means that you're going to pay attention to your certain kind of proteins in this setting, because you're not going to have the really fatty portions of meat. You're going to have leaner portions of meat. It has to be done in a certain way so that you're not having too much fats in your meal. And you're also going to pull way back on your fats. So you're not going to have lots of butters. You're not going to have lots of oils. You're going to be really careful with the amount of fats that you have in the e-meal setting. So they give some examples in here. This is what their example is for a type of e-meal. Moist chicken breast cooked with salsa and caramelized onions over a bed of brown rice or quinoa. Tender field greens spritzed with a tiny bit of olive oil and drizzled generously with balsamic vinegar, and possibly a grapefruit slushy to end your meal. So that's what an e-meal would look like. So e-meals are like your beans, your lentils, your breads, all your fruits, your higher sugar content fruits, and just leaner meats and leaner proteins and things like that. So I always use this as an example. If you're going to eat a piece of toast, what this looks like is that you would not put butter slathered all over your toast. What you can put on your toast instead is a teeny tiny bit of all fruit jelly, or you can put on a little bit of hummus spread across your sprouted bread. So there's a lot of options. It just looks a little different when you're used to slathering it with butter like I am. So that's my example typically of how do you do this. Also in the e-meal setting, you can have the starchy vegetables that you can't have in a setting. So you can have like sweet potatoes, you can have corn, you can have carrots. You can have white potatoes. They don't recommend, you're not going to do a whole lot of white potatoes, but I have seen some of the recipes do call for little garnishes and things like that occasionally. And so they describe it as a seesaw. So I'm going to throw up a picture for you of what it looks like when the e-meal, how the protein's in the center, but the fats are really low and the carbs are really high. And so for you guys who are visual, that's what it looks like. So on this plan, they do talk about the importance of soaking your beans. You don't by any means have to. I just get the canned beans. But if you're going to eat the real beans, soak them the night before. So they talk a lot about different health practices in this book as well, of just healthy ways to prepare your food. Also, when you're eating the grains, you're going to eat sprouted grains. So you can have sourdough bread. You can even make your own bread, your own sourdough bread, or you're going to get sprouted bread. You're not going to just go to the store and get just normal white bread or even whole wheat bread. And so here's examples of the proteins that you can have on the e-meal setting. So you're going to have anything from chicken breasts to tuna packed in water. You can get salmon pouches. Look for 5 grams of fat or less. You can have any other kind of fish but not fried. You can have venison. You can have turkey breast, lean ground turkey or chicken, any kind of lean deli meats. Natural brands are best. And you can have ground meats with higher fat levels if you can brown them, drain them, and rinse the fat off. They do have you do that in several of the e-meals that they have in here as well. So also I'll mention this is not their cookbook. They have 3 other additional cookbooks. I feature them on this channel all of the time. This does not have any actual recipes in it like their original larger 500-page book, but this is just the plan. And then if you want to have some of the recipes, which I highly recommend, it's super helpful, you can get any or all of those cookbooks. In the e-meal setting, you don't have whole eggs. You can have egg whites, and then e-friendly dairy that you could eat. You can have 0% Greek yogurt, so we always get the Greek yogurt kind. You can get low-fat or non-fat regular, just plain yogurt, not Greek in this setting, but I always just have Greek on hand because I can use it. It's so versatile. Plain or low-fat or non-fat kefir, 1% cottage cheese, 2% is fine for those who can't find 1%. That's okay. I just usually do fat-free. That's what I can find. So reduced fat ricotta cheese, keep it to a 1/4 cup in e-meal settings, they said. Skim mozzarella cheese with just garnish amounts only. And reduced fat 2% hard cheeses if you're just garnishing it only. So sometimes you'll have a setting where you can put just like a tablespoon on. You know, you just kind of sprinkle a little bit on and just kind of garnish it. And it just helps. Some meals it really does just help. Or you can also have light Laughing Cow cheese wedges in an e-meal setting. So E-friendly grains, you can have brown rice up to 3/4 cup per serving. You can have quinoa, 3/4 cup per serving. You can have whole barley, also 3/4 cup per serving, or you can have whole farro. Never tried that one. 3/4 cup per serving. Have you ever even heard of it? I haven't. Oatmeal, you can have 1 1/4 cups per serving, and I assure you that is more than enough. Whole grain bread, you can have 2 pieces of sprouted bread per serving in this setting. You can have 1 sprouted tortilla, 1 big large tortilla. You can have sprouted whole grain flours. You can have sprouted whole grain pasta. And you can have light rye, fiber, or flaxseed wasa crackers, up to 4 crackers. I hope I'm saying that right. Wasa, I'm not sure. Sorry, guys. Multigrain, hearty, whole grain, or sourdough wasa crackers. You can have 2 or 3 crackers of those. Most Revita crackers will be fine for e-meals too. You can also even have air-popped popcorn. 4 to 5 cups of popped kernels. So that's pretty good. Can you imagine having 5 cups of popped kernels? That's a whole awesome serving. You just don't want to combine that with the oil. Or you can have baked blue corn chips. Don't overdo it, but you can put it a little bit on the top and garnish it. We did this one recipe called Taco Salad Crunch. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's by Mrs. Criddle's Kitchen. I will try to link it. But you can have the blue corn tortilla chips with that. Oh, it's so good. So e-friendly beans and legumes, include all of them, including lentils and split peas, any beans that you want. Stick to 1 cup densely packed when cooked. More can be eaten when liquid is involved, such as in a chili or a lentil or chana dal kind of soup. They say all veggies are welcome on an E setting except for potatoes. Save potatoes for the occasional crossover meal. So you're not going to be eating very many white potatoes. Those are not friendly for your blood sugar, but you can have them every once in a while occasionally. I am not where I'm wanting to do crossovers yet, so I don't personally use those yet. At some point, this is a lifelong plan. So when I'm ready to start doing crossovers, at some point, will I have some potatoes added in occasionally? Yeah, I'm sure that I will, probably so. You can have 1 medium sweet potato, carrots, both raw or cooked. As friendly oils, you are allowed up to 1 teaspoon of oil in the e-meal setting. Except for MCT oil, on occasion, you can have 2 teaspoons if you'd like to. And then if you're going to have any kind of nuts, those are typically S setting. So you can have just the tiniest sprinkle of a garnish only for the E setting, or you can have 1 teaspoon of nut butters if you need to add that to one of your meals. You can do that. It says you can also use 1 to 2 tablespoons of pressed peanut flour in an E setting. And then there's lots of different condiments that you can have too. You can have mustard, horseradish sauce, hot sauce as long as it doesn't have sugar, low fat dressings, either homemade or store-bought. Mayo, if you just have 1 teaspoon of it or just a little smear of it. You can mix the 1 teaspoon with Greek yogurt, and that gives you a little bit more bulk to it if you want and still have like the taste of mayo. You can have soy sauce, tamari, liquid aminos, coconut aminos. You can have all vinegars. You can have all spices, prepared without sugar or any needless fillers. You're trying to go as natural as you can get, as healthy and natural as you can get. You can have unsweetened cocoa powder in the E setting, nutritional yeast, and all skim stock and broth prepared without sugar. There's also some specialty items. If you want to purchase things from their store, they have great products. I highly recommend it. I love them. It really helps me stay on plan to have some of their stuff just in stock. And I love to just source it from them and not have to source it from somewhere else, because I know their quality, I know their integrity, and I like to support their business. They're just other moms like me, and I love that we can have the opportunity to support their business. So I definitely choose to do that. You don't have to by any means. You don't have to, but here's the other E-friendly specialty items. You can get whey protein powder, integral collagen, just gelatin, the glucosamine or glucose that they call it comes from the konjac root. You can also have that in the E setting. You can have the natural sweeteners that they have, like stevia or erythritol or xylitol. Those things are the natural sweeteners that you can have in an E setting as well. You can have the THM baking blend. The baking blend is super, super helpful. Definitely go on their website and check that out. You can have the pressed peanut flour, although they just talked about only 1 to 2 tablespoons. And then you can have the not naughty noodles or not naughty rice. Those are like the shirataki noodles. They're a little weird. They're super weird. I personally cannot stand them, but some people really, really like them. If you're one of those people, more power to you. Almond milk, cashew milk, flaxseed milk. Canned coconut milk is not E-friendly, so that would be only an S, but everything else is neutral. So you can have almond milk in an E setting. And then down here are personal choice items. You can have things like Joseph's low carb pita bread or lavash bread. And because those are kind of neutral, they can be used in an S setting too. You can also combine those with like different fruit and stuff if you'd like, and still stay under the 45 grams. And low carb tortillas, same with that. You can have the fat-free Ready Whip. You're just going to do like a tiny bit, a little dollop of it, not a whole lot. You want to make sure it does not have high fructose corn syrup in it, obviously. You can have Laughing Cow light cheese wedges. We mentioned that already. You can also have Dreamfields pasta, but limit it to once a week. So that's kind of a neutral food too. And you can have it in an E setting. You just don't want to overdo it with that pasta. You can also have light progressive soups, excluding ones that have a cream of version. You can add that with sprouted or sourdough bread. So that's kind of nice too. So that includes everything that you can eat in an e-meal setting. I definitely do feature a lot of e-meals on my channel. I definitely try to do e-meals with you guys also. I find with the e-meals, like I prefer S. Like I gravitate towards the S meals a little bit more so because they're the richer, you know, more hearty meals. And I think most people do too. And so they're always kind of harping on us, the sisters that wrote the book, of just, you make sure you're getting in your emails. You need multiple emails a week. You need those for energy. You need those to have that balance. You need those to keep your metabolism guessing. And so there's just all kinds of reasons why you want to keep having emails. And so they include plenty of emails in their books, in their cookbooks. And so I'm featuring them too. One thing with the emails is that I find you can be hungrier with them a little bit sooner. And so I think that's why people like the S meals more, because it kind of sticks with you a little bit longer, and emails don't necessarily, but they're still important to get in, and you'll still be fine. I don't find that I feel like I'm starving on this plan at all. So it's definitely very doable. And that's what the email looks like. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. Did I explain it very well? You know, does this make sense? Can you understand the difference between S and E meal nows if you've watched both videos? And I'm just wondering, is this helpful? Next, I plan to do videos on fuel pools and fuel pool cycles, what those are. So be looking for that in about a week. That video will be out talking about the differences with that kind of meal. And so those are the two main meals for this plan, is S and E. That's the backbone of the plan. You're going to rotate between those two meals. You can do full days of S eating and full days of E meal eating, or you can do, you know, a mixture of them in each day, as long as you wait 3 hours between switching your meals and your fuel types. So that's the basics of the plan. That's the backbone of the plan. And if you know those two things, you can basically get started with just those two videos I've made. However, I'm going to be adding some more videos in the future, so please check back and subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it if this helped you. Give it a like and let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Start to sail on these ocean waves. Nobody knows how to find us. It's turning out to be a perfect day. I just wanna leave our normal lives behind us. So let's get lost out here.